Due to our technological advancements such as the camera, it is infinitely easier for us to capture unique natural phenomena occurring in the ecosystem and to document wildlife. Furthermore, due to the internet, which gives us access to any information with just a couple of clicks, we aren't as much in need of books and handwritten scriptures in order to understand the world we live in. However, as we look back into the past, to a time where modern technology didn't exist, we realize how much explorers and scientists had to count on their artistic skills, how much time they had to devote to perfecting them, in order to keep a record of all of their research, and, therefore, spreading their acquired knowledge to the rest of the world. Although it is sometimes overlooked, those extremely realistic pictures, which were originally meant to be used for scientific purposes, should also be deeply analyzed from its artistic point of view. On a closer look, one would be able to notice the artist's extreme attention to details and precision when it came to the anatomy of the subjects. An individual who was able to mix both art and science throughout his work, and the main subject of my presentation is John James Audubon, an American ornithologist, naturalist, and painter from the 18th century. He was notable for his extensive studies documenting all types of American birds, and for his detailed illustrations that depicted the birds in their natural habitats. His major work, a color-plate book entitled The Birds of America, is considered one of the finest ornithological works ever completed, with all of the 435 different species he painted. It is said that Audubon identified 25 new species. Here are 4 of them that he used to analyze and that he even recorded in his book, but have unfortunately gone extinct since then. Audubon developed his own methods for drawing birds, which, although unusual, were seen as revolutionary. First, he would kill his subjects and then use wires to prop them into a natural position, unlike the common method of many ornithologists who prepared and stuffed the specimens into a rigid pose. When working on a major specimen like an eagle, he would spend up to 15 hours per day preparing, studying, and drawing it. His paintings of birds are set true to life in their natural habitat. He often portrayed them as if caught in motion, especially feeding or hunting. This largely differed from the stiff representations of birds by his fellow artists, such as Alexander Wilson, making his technique revolutionary. Audubon based his paintings on the types of birds he observed and studied at that moment. He worked primarily with watercolor early on. He added colored chalk or pastel to add softness to feathers, especially those of owls and herons. He employed multiple layers of watercoloring and sometimes used gouache. All species were drawn life-size, which accounts for the twisted poses of the larger birds, as Audubon was trying to fit them within the page size. Smaller species were usually placed on branches with berries, fruit, and flowers. He used several birds in a drawing to present all views of anatomy and wings. Larger birds were often placed in their ground habitat or perching on stumps. At times, as with woodpeckers, he combined several species on one page to offer contrasting features. He frequently depicted the birds' nests and eggs and occasionally natural predators such as snakes. In addition to faithful renderings of anatomy, Audubon also employed carefully constructed composition, drama, and slightly exaggerated poses, giving the creatures he depicted almost human attitudes to achieve artistic as well as scientific effects. He was even criticized by naturalists for adding a background or setting, as it would apparently make it seem like more of an artwork than an image created for the sake of science. However, what really mattered was the ornithological exactness found in his drawings and paintings, making them seem almost real. It's this precision in illustrating American birds and in analyzing their behaviors as animals that made this book, The Birds of America, quite well known, as it helped countless people to learn and recognize America's featured feathered friends. In conclusion, it's good to remember that if it weren't for art, science wouldn't have gone this far, as the lack of representation of the studied subject would create confusion in people's minds. Real scientists had to be able to literally paint a picture of their studies in order to help others understand them better and subsequently learn about what they are. However, that picture required immense precision as it was at the very core of one's knowledge on a certain matter, therefore making art a crucial element in the study and learning process of a person. Aside from that, it was clear that Audubon was mostly using his art skills in order to better understand the bird's anatomy, and therefore providing the scientific world more detailed information and an in-depth analysis of each species. So this is it for me. Thank you for listening, and please answer the question if you wish.